You know that feeling, right? The one where you check your bank account and your stomach just drops? So many of us think that feeling will only go away when we see, I don't know, millions in there. But what if I told you the number that really truly changes everything is way, way smaller than you think? So let's get real for a second. We're all bombarded with this idea that you've got to hit $1 million, that 7 figures is the only real benchmark for success. But honestly, those huge numbers can feel completely out of reach, kind of paralyzing, you know? The truth is, there's a different milestone, a first big step that completely rewires your entire relationship with money. Yeah, we're taught to chase the million. But the real game changer, the number that actually separates the people who build wealth for the long haul from those who are just, well, treading water, it's so much more attainable, and it changes absolutely everything. That's the number, $20,000. I know, it might not sound like a life-changing fortune, but believe me, crossing this one line is maybe the single most important step you can take on your financial journey. This is where the grind stops and the momentum starts. So, why is this first 20 grand so incredibly important? Well, because getting there is kind of like pushing a giant boulder up a really steep hill. It feels like all effort, all sweat, and you're barely seeing any progress. But the second you get to the top of that hill, everything changes. This picture says it all, doesn't it? That uphill battle is the grind. It's the discipline, the sacrifice, just to get started. Hitting that $20,000 mark, that's the moment you finally push that boulder over the crest. And from there on out, gravity, or in our case, compound interest, it starts doing the heavy lifting for you. But here's the thing. The biggest change isn't even in your bank account. It's what happens inside your head. When you hit this milestone, you fundamentally rewire how you make decisions. You finally switch from just surviving to actually thriving. Think about it. Before you have that cushion, you are constantly in survival mode. Every single decision is driven by fear. What if the car breaks down? What if I lose my job? You can't even think about finding great opportunities when you're just putting out fires all day. But once you have that $20,000 buffer, your brain gets breathing room. You can be proactive. You start asking, how can I grow this? Instead of just, how do I make it to Friday? And hey, this isn't just a feeling. We've got the data to prove it. A study from Vanguard found that having just $2,000 in savings boosts your feeling of financial well-being by a whopping 21%. And when you bump that up to cover 3 to 6 months of expenses, which for a lot of people is right around that $20,000 mark, it jumps even higher. You've literally bought yourself a psychological safety net. All right, so once your brain has made that shift, that's when the magic of the math really starts to kick in. This is the point where your money stops being just a pile of cash you're trying to protect, and it starts becoming an employee that works for you, 24/7, no breaks. Just look at how this accelerates. Let's say you're saving $1,000 a month with an 8% return. Getting to that first 20K takes about 19 months, but your second 20K, that only takes 17 months because your original money is already helping you out. Now fast forward, once you've got $400,000 invested, that same $20,000 in growth happens in just 5 months without you lifting a finger. And here's the most crucial part to understand. This strategy doesn't change. You can own the exact same investments with $2,000 as you can with $20,000. The only difference is scale. And that scale changes everything. A 10% return on $2,000 is $200. Nice, but a 10% return on 20 grand is $2,000. Now that is real money. That's money you can feel, money that starts making a visible difference in your life. So all this, the mindset shift, the math kicking in, it all leads to the most important thing of all, freedom. Having a solid financial foundation doesn't just give you more money. It gives you more choices. It lets you actually design the life you want instead of just constantly reacting to whatever life throws at you. This is what some people call walking away money, and it totally transforms your relationship with work. When you are not desperate for your next paycheck, you can walk into your boss's office and negotiate for that raise with real confidence. You can push back on crazy demands. You're operating from a position of strength, not fear. And your entire perspective just shifts. A surprise car repair is now an annoyance, not a full-blown financial disaster. You can actually stop worrying about whether you can afford a $5 coffee and start focusing your brain power on the big stuff that really moves the needle: your career, your house, your investments. You start to understand that a $30,000 car isn't just gone, it's the hundreds of thousands of dollars it could have been if you'd invested it. But honestly, when it's all said and done, the most valuable thing you get from saving that first $20,000 isn't the money itself, it's the proof. You've proven to yourself that you are the kind of person who has discipline, who can delay gratification. You've proven that you are in control of your money, not the other way around. That identity shift, man, that is absolutely priceless. So look, $20,000 isn't the finish line, not even close. It's the real starting line. It's the point where you flip the switch from surviving to thriving, from playing defense to playing offense. It's the most important number because it's the one that proves to you that this whole thing is possible. So the real question is, now that you know the first step, what's holding you back?